They broke your trust. They betrayed your loyalty. They thought it was the end of you. But what if I told you their betrayal was the fire that made you unstoppable? Stay with me, because this isn't just a story of pain. It's a war cry, a call to rise from the ashes, stronger, sharper, and more powerful than ever before. If you've ever been betrayed, disrespected, or thrown away, this video will change you. Don't blink. Don't look away. Your turn to dominate starts now. You didn't give it away easily. You didn't hand it out like candy. You built it. You invested in it. You believed in it. You gave them something most people never see. Your trust, your word, your time. And they thought they could play with it. They thought they could betray that and walk away clean. No, it doesn't work like that. You see, when someone betrays sacred trust, they don't just lose access to you. They lose access to grace. They lose access to the version of you that was willing to carry their weight. They didn't just hurt you. They made a decision. They exposed their character. And that was the best thing they ever did for you. Because now you see. Now you're awake. Now you're dangerous. Because the most dangerous person in the world is the one who loved deeply and then woke up. The one who's done apologizing for being real. The one who's done explaining their loyalty. You were loyal in a world full of masks. You were real in a game full of liars. And they thought that was weakness. They thought you were soft because they mistook your kindness for ignorance. They didn't know your silence was strategy. They didn't know your calm was controlled fire. You weren't weak. You were focused. You were devoted. You were trying to build something, but they weren't. They were using. They were extracting. They were taking your energy, your warmth, your light, like thieves in the night. But now you've locked the gates. Now you've burned the bridge. Now you've made peace with being the villain in their story. Let them talk. Let them twist the narrative. You don't owe them clarity. You don't owe them closure. You owe yourself power. You owe yourself the comeback, the evolution, the rise. They thought their betrayal would break you. They thought it would destroy you, but it only lit a fire they can't put out. Because now you're not just surviving, you're dominating. This pain, it's your fuel. This silence, it's your weapon. Your comeback, it's not a choice. It's a certainty. They won't see it coming because they think you're the same. They think you're still that person who forgives too fast, who explains too much, who listens when they don't deserve to be heard. But they forgot something. They forgot what happens when a warrior gets tired of being betrayed. They forgot what happens when a lion remembers it's a lion. You're not here to beg. You're not here to be understood. You're here to conquer. Let them talk. Let them gossip. Let them throw their little stones from their glass houses. You won't flinch. you won't explain, because you've evolved. You've upgraded your standards. You've outgrown the games, the lies, the manipulations. What they took for weakness was actually depth. What they used as leverage was actually your patience. And now that it's gone, they feel the void. They feel the distance. They feel your absence like a ghost in the room. Because when someone loses access to your energy, they lose everything. You were the peace they took for granted. You were the storm they didn't expect. You were the loyalty they will never find again. That's the cost of betrayal. It's not loud. It's not dramatic. It's just final. One day, you're there soft, present, giving. The next, you're a ghost they'll never touch again. Because when your trust breaks, so does the connection. No rebuilding, no revisiting, no re-entry. You don't put broken glass back together and expect it to be whole. You don't pour your soul into cracked hands again. You learn, you heal, you transform. And every time they remember what they lost, it haunts them, because they'll never find another you. Not in a million conversations, not in 1,000 fake smiles. You were the real one, the rare one, the genuine soul in a world full of actors. And they played you. Now they're the punchline. You didn't lose them. They lost you. They lost access to something pure, to something that didn't want anything but honesty. You weren't asking for much. Just truth. Just respect. Just loyalty. But those are foreign languages to cowards. So now you speak in silence. Now you speak in action. You've entered a new phase. The phase where you say nothing but make everyone feel everything. The phase where you build in private. Where you heal in shadows. Where you rise with no announcement. They'll hear about it when it's too late. They'll see your name when it's shining so bright they can't ignore it. And they'll remember they had front row seats to your greatness and still fumbled it. Let them drown in their own choices. Let them sit with the silence. Let them replay the memories they once laughed through because they thought you'd never leave. You were the one who stayed when no one else did. You were the one who listened when their voice cracked. You were the one who showed up every time. But they weren't built like you. They never were. Because people like them are temporary. But people like you, you're eternal. You live in memories, in regret, in the spaces they can't fill with noise or distractions. You're the quiet moment before they sleep when the guilt crawls in. You're the what if they whisper to themselves when the world goes dark. And you're not chasing closure anymore. You're not looking back, because the version of you that tolerated crumbs is gone. You've stepped into your power. You've reclaimed your worth. And now you don't need them to admit what they did. You don't need an apology from people who weren't sorry when they did it. Because you found something better. You found yourself. And that was the real reward. Their betrayal was your awakening. Their lies were your liberation. Every blade they stabbed you with, you pulled it out and built an empire. Every wound became a window. You saw who they were, and, more importantly, you saw who you are. You're not broken. You're reborn. You're not weak. You're unstoppable. They thought they were removing you from their life, but they actually removed themselves from their blessing. And now you walk alone. Not lonely, just selective. Not bitter, just wiser. You don't fight for seats at tables that insult your spirit. You don't argue for love that requires pain, because you're not in the business of proving your value to the blind. You are done auditioning. You're not here to convince anyone to see your worth. That chapter is closed. And the next one? It's going to terrify everyone who doubted you. You've got fire in your veins now, stillness in your eyes, and a war drum beating in your chest. This isn't revenge. This is evolution. This is ascension. This is what happens when a soul stops breaking and starts building. When the storm doesn't destroy you, it becomes part of you. You don't run from pain anymore. You use it. You don't deny the past. You stand on it, like a throne built from every moment they thought would bury you. And now, you're not coming back. You're coming for everything. Every win from here, it's personal. Every success, it's carved from scars they gave you. They thought they were hurting you. They were actually shaping you, because pain is a forge. And you're a weapon now, sharpened by betrayal, polished by isolation, tempered in silence. They thought they were throwing dirt on your name, but they didn't know you're the seed. They tried to bury you, but you grew. You cracked open the darkness and became something stronger, something they can't label, something they can't manipulate, because you saw the truth, and the truth set you on fire. You'll never beg again. You'll never shrink to fit into their world again. That chapter of tolerating disrespect, dead. That version of you that explained your value, buried. Now, you walk in rooms with power, not arrogance, certainty, not noise, presence. Because when you finally realize your value, you stop giving discounts. You stop handing over your peace to people who trade it for drama. You stop watering connections that never grow. Let them go. Let them wonder. Let them pretend they're thriving. Because deep down they know what they lost. And what they lost was priceless. You didn't need revenge. You became a reminder. Every move you make now is a message. Every step is a statement. They lost access to a soul that only wanted to see them win. And now, they watch you from the sidelines, trying to match your energy, but they never could. Because your power wasn't in pretending. It was in your realness, in your depth, in the way you loved loudly and loyally. You gave your all, and when they misused it, You walked away, not because you stopped caring, but because you started caring about yourself more. And that's the shift that changes everything. You stopped chasing people who made you feel like too much. You stopped explaining yourself to those committed to misunderstanding you. You stopped lowering your frequency to match chaos. And that's when the shift happened. That's when the storm inside you turned into power. They thought they broke you, but they only broke your illusion. The illusion that they were worthy of your loyalty, of your energy, of your light. You finally realized not everyone deserves access to you. Not everyone gets to stand in your peace and poison it. Not everyone gets to taste your loyalty and spit it back. So now you're different, not colder, clearer, not harsher, sharper. You see through games before they're played. You hear the lies in the silence. You feel the betrayal before the blade lands, because your heart's been trained in fire. And now, you don't react. You don't chase. You don't explain. You watch. You learn. You move. And when you move, it's final. No round two. No coming back. No second chances for those who tried to kill your spirit. You gave love like oxygen. They used it like a weapon. And now, you're the one with the sword. You're the one who walked through hell and kept going. The one who turned tears into fuel, loss into leverage, silence into strength. They underestimated the wrong soul, because now you're a storm in human form, and they'll never be ready for the version of you they created, the one who loved deeply and left loudly. You didn't just walk away. You elevated. You ascended. And from up here, you don't look down in anger. You don't look back in pain. You look forward with fire in your chest and clarity in your soul, because you're done being the lesson. Now, you're the standard. They tried to shatter you. What they did was awaken you. They wanted you broken, bitter, confused. What they got was a version of you they'll never touch again. You don't just survive now. You command. You don't just recover. You rise. Every move you make is calculated. Every breath you take is purposeful. You walk like a weapon forged in betrayal. You speak like truth wrapped in thunder. You show up like someone who has nothing to prove because the proof is in your presence. They lost access to a universe of loyalty, to a force that would have fought armies for them. And now, you're fighting for yourself. You built your peace. You guard your energy like a king guards his throne. You don't ask for permission. You don't wait for validation, because now you know. You were the gift. You were the peace. You were the real one, and they lost you because they couldn't handle the weight of something sacred. Your trust was sacred. Their betrayal wasn't worth it. So let them talk. Let them lie. Let them pretend. You won't break your silence to correct fiction. Because the truth doesn't scream, it wins. You didn't just move on. You evolved. You didn't just survive the betrayal. You became the version of yourself that doesn't need anyone who would even think about betraying you. You don't flinch anymore. You don't explain anymore. You don't beg anymore. You just build, win, rule. Your silence is louder than their excuses. Your absence is heavier than their presence ever was. Because when a real one walks away, the whole world feels it. They won't recover from losing you, and they'll never find another you. You were rare, unmatched, solid, and now you're gone, but not in weakness, in power, in purpose, in a place they'll never reach again. Because you don't repeat cycles. You don't reopen closed doors. And you don't go back to what hurt you just to prove a point. You are the point. So now, walk like you never crawled. Speak like you were never silenced. Love like you were never betrayed, but guard it like it's sacred, because it is. You are. And from this day forward, you owe them nothing, but you owe yourself everything. So go take it. Go claim the life they distracted you from, the vision they mocked, the future they thought you'd never reach. Go become the nightmare of every person who underestimated you. Because you didn't just survive betrayal. You mastered it. You leveled up through it. And now you're untouchable. Now you're unforgettable. Now you're unstoppable. Let the world watch. Let the past burn. Let your legacy begin, because this is your time, and nothing will stand in your way again. Not them, not doubt, not pain, nothing. Because the war is over, and you won.